Tomorrow's strikes mean there'll be no school for many children and no work for thousands of parents who'll have to lose a day's pay or take holiday to look after them. At the latest count, 7,852 schools in England and Wales will be completely or partially shut. Jane Deith's been to 2 schools in Liverpool where teachers will be out on strike.
The talks about teachers' pensions might not be over, but St Cuthbert's Primary has already sent out letters telling parents there'll be no school tomorrow. Deputy Head Jeanette Kenyon is backing her 6 teachers who'll all be out on strike because she's joining them. Angry that after 33 years teaching, the government wants her to keep going to 68 before she gets her pension.
"11 years to go, and we're going to give you less money at the end of it, and you're going to pay more for it."
What about the basic fact of working another 11 years?
You just don't, you won't have the creativity or the push that you have when you're younger. So yeah, children's education will suffer.
But the government says children's education will suffer tomorrow and is urging union members to go back to school in the morning.
And I do hope, even at this 11th hour actually, that there will be teachers who were tempted to strike who'll decide to go to work instead. Because I don't want to do anything which will see hard-working families inconvenienced.
But the NUT estimates 2,000 teachers across Merseyside will be off school.
There are 169 schools in Liverpool, and tomorrow 142 of them will be completely shut or only half open. And that means a lot of parents having to take the day off work so that teachers can go out on strike.
I reckon they get paid a lot as it is, to be honest. I've been told that they get paid about, what, £2 grand a month. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've been told. And I'm just worried about his education, you know.
I agree with what they're doing. It is a struggle for me, but, you know, one day, as long as it doesn't carry on for weeks and weeks and weeks, then it will become a problem.
At Calderstone School, science teacher Matthew Smith came out to tell me why he'll be on a picket line at the gates tomorrow.
I have 2 small children of my own. We've already accepted a pay freeze for the next 2 years, and one of the changes would be to up our contributions by about 50% of what we pay at the moment, which personally would cost me about £90 a month. I don't have £90 left at the end of every month.
But that's the case for a lot of people in the private sector too, and you've got a pension they could only dream of, so why should you strike?
I mean, I agree that the public sector pensions are clearly preferable to the private sector pensions. Surely, there are some huge profits being made. We see about the banks and people in banking, the profits they make. Surely there's some way to adjust the balance slightly so that more of that money is going into pensions and improving the lot for everybody else.
The teachers going on strike say yes, they've got it better than some, but that doesn't mean they've got it good. Public sympathy will be tested tomorrow. Jane Deith, Channel 4 News, Liverpool.
Well, how the government responds to the strikes will partly depend on what the public thinks. The opinion polls are certainly very divided on pension reform and the strike. A YouGov poll for The Sun today showed 47% against the pension plans and 37% in favour, while 40% support tomorrow's strike and 49% oppose it. Of course, we haven't seen a strike quite like this one for decades, so how people feel could change depending on how they're affected if the dispute carries on. Who's going to look after your kids?
I have to.
So you'll have to take the day off?
Not a day off, but I have to come with them.
Oh, they'll have to come here?
One day is not make any difference.
I'll probably take them over the park and, with the dog and have a kick about with the football and that, I suppose.
But you're supposed to be at college tomorrow as well?
Yeah, man, but there's no college. I have to stay at home, look after my sister, and I want to be at school learning.
Well, certainly my business will be, because a lot of people will struggle to get to work. They have childcare arrangements which won't be in place.
Do you know if the strike's going to affect you at all tomorrow?
Yes, my daughter's school's start tomorrow.
It can't affect me because I'm not going anywhere, but the people that are going somewhere will be affected.
And here are the kinds of responses the pollsters find when they ask people why they support or oppose the strike.
It's persistence, isn't it? You've got to persist in your cause, and eventually they'll have to listen.
When like they start messing us about, like it's affecting our families. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I just think it's a total liberty.
Of course, I support the strike. There should be more strike strikes, you know what I mean, consistently over a period of time.
It would be better if they will be discussing the things over the table.
The city wasn't penalised. Young kids are still taking their bonuses, so I have a lot of sympathy with it.
Public sector pensions are well inflated. It is a gold-plated pension scheme. They've had it very good for a long time. I think it's time they paid up for what they're getting.
But whichever side of the dispute people are on, there is clearly a lot of scepticism about how effective the strike will be at shifting the government's position.
I don't think tomorrow is going to be the be-all and end-all of getting to a solution to the problem. I think it's going to be a series of issues that are going to accumulate and build over time.
No, I don't think it's going to work. The strike will come on, but I don't know if it's going to have an impact or not.
If enough people put, themselves behind it and be true to the cause, it will be effective.
They still do what they want to do, regardless.
When you go with the tube and the rest of them, they don't seem to make much impact, really, so probably not.
I think it's a bit pointless, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen financially.
But it isn't how people feel tonight or even tomorrow that the politicians are watching. It's how attitudes change over time, and that's perhaps why the government is treading carefully over changes to the union laws. The last thing ministers want is to make the general public swing more firmly behind the strike.